to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in, one and all. That was me.
That was disturbing.
It was. I wasn't sure if there would just be silence.
The silence was
deafening.
That was not going to work for me.
Welcome into the Fantasy Footballers. Mike Wright, Jason Moore, Andy Holloway back with you Tuesday, May 19th. Apparently, it's not too early to mock draft because that's what we're doing today. And why not?
Yeah.
Rookies have teams.
We've actually...
Aaron Rodgers is finally back.
Oh, man.
We've been waiting on that to mock draft because he's going.
Thank goodness.
He's going so high in mocks.
He's going to fix it.
For the Steelers fans and loyal, I was really afraid they weren't going to finish with 6 or 7 wins.
What do they want? Do they want Rodgers there because he's clearly better than their other options?
No.
Or do they want to have a chance at getting a quarterback in next year's very good quarterback draft class?
I think they don't want – I mean, the ones that I know that are lifelong Steeler fans, the people that I've talked to, I asked them that question all offseason, and they don't want him back. But
sorry.
But you
got him.
You got him back. I mean, we've got Aaron Rodgers again. So I'm happy to be back on the show. Voice is mostly there, not quite completely. But at least we're not like doing a mock draft show.
Right.
Where I have to
talk through everybody's pick.
But no, it'll be fun. We've got a lot going on. The UDK is less than 2 weeks away. You can find that at ultimatedraftkit.com. We've got some really exciting new features that we haven't announced yet that are also going to be
soon
launching for the UDK at no extra cost, but really, really cool features that we've been wanting to add for a long time.
It's not no extra cost, but it is extra boss.
Thank you, Mike. That's a fact. UltimateDraftKit.com for that.
People from the 70s are like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
No, I'm with that.
Yeah.
That's hip.
I would give it a 3 out of 10. I'm going to be honest.
Well, you're not from the 70s.
No,
are
thank
you?
goodness. No.
First of all, Jason,
Papa Josh?
you don't get or
Yeah, Josh loved that joke.
you don't get to rate anybody's jokes today because we already started doing video player profile videos for
Oh, goodness gracious.
a number of the players that go in the UDK. The UDK has over 100 player profile videos, and you chose
to crush it,
to make some jokes that really we just left them in.
Yeah. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
They're special. So we'll get into some news and we'll get right into the mock.
News and notes from around the league.
Just checking in with Al Borland real quick. Would you say Jason crushed it with the jokes?
I crushed it is not the term I would have used.
Okay.
But I did laugh at one of them.
Hey, I'll take it.
That's awesome. The Steelers re-signed Aaron Rodgers, 1-year contract worth up to $25 million.
I hate this, man. Like, Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great elite quarterback, and we're at the party too long. We wanted. You needed. I get it. If I'm him, I'm probably playing till the wheels fall off because then after this, you're totally done. You'll never play football again. But my memories of him are becoming tainted.
Negative, yeah.
They'll come back to he'll be remembered for the Packers years. But do you think that Aaron Rodgers is like full of himself?
What? Dude, the whole world knows that Aaron Rodgers.
I love me some me.
Okay, so let me. So that was the table set.
Yeah,
for the
right.
next comment.
Okay.
I think that he is.
I just wanted to make sure that was the
confident
perception
in his ability.
My point being, how can you not have that sense of self if you can just completely blow this team off for the entire offseason and meander back into the building and be handed $25 million? That is, I mean,
not going to help the ego you're saying.
I just think that it's an impossible play. If you can just, at this stage of your career, just walk into, I don't know if I want to come back. All right, I'll take the 25 mil. Like, that's a tough place to be. Saw some OTA clips already. He was one of the first guys in the building, throwing to Pittman, throwing to Metcalf.
Hey,
we're back.
He's
McCarthy.
He's in the building. Jacoby Brissett is not.
I'll say there was also a guy taking snaps in the backfield, Jason.
Yeah,
For
and
the
that
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Is it Caleb?
It was Caleb.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Your favorite.
I have no
My
idea.
guy.
I have
Well, he
no
wasn't
idea.
really a
He
my
was
guy,
not
was
a
he?
my
No.
guy.
Oh, okay.
But I
Fantasy
don't know.
MVP.
I bet he thought about it.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
You shut your mouth. Wait, hold on. I can still mute Andy. All right. Andy's muted.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. I've got a mute
This was
Andy
a new
button.
thing he figured out that was funny, and now he gets to do it all the time.
Do what? You can't say nothing.
Jeremy, remove this immediately.
I told him that, and he's left it for
This is
5 shows.
There will be a problem.
Yes.
That will happen.
Yeah.
67% of Aaron Rodgers' passing yards last year came after the catch, the highest total in the entire NFL. Dead last in average depth of target.
Gross.
Lowest yards per completion of any 10-win team in a decade.
When your leading receiver is Kenneth Gainwell, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're all looking for whose fault this is. We're looking for the guy who did this.
Well, let's
Aaron
give him
Rodgers,
$25 million.
The reason that happened is because of Aaron Rodgers.
You look at, there was a part of this offseason we thought Will Howard would be the starting quarterback. Then they draft Drew Aller, and now Rodgers comes back, and you look at Will Howard, is he ever going to have a shot to do anything?
Allegedly, Howard was second up as of the very, very early stuff.
Well, there you go. Bucky Irving, Buccaneers general manager, talking about Bucky Irving, saying he will be limited due to the shoulder during organized team activities, but should be ready for training camp. I mean, this has been a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a recent surgery, so I think what happened was we just didn't know when he had the surgery up front, and so recently it's been reported, hey, he just had surgery a little while ago, but the timeline on this specific surgery should really be fine. He's not in jeopardy for a week 1 absence, a pop, anything like that. He should really be fine.
Saints general manager Mickey Loomis said the team is, quote, trying to see how Alvin Kamara will fit on the roster.
I don't see how he does.
Please don't.
Yeah, so that will change things for Travis Etienne Jr. Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett. I hate the Cardinals.
Welcome.
So does this guy.
I mean, how do you manage to be the worst schedule release in the league? And then now you're in a contract dispute with Jacoby Brissett, who didn't show up to the first practice. Do you know who's not showing up to practice? It's Jacoby Brissett. And we have to worry about this because he's the starter.
I'm not worried.
Cardinals
It's
are
actually no. I
the
take that
underdog.
back. For fantasy football purposes.
Oh, he's super
I am extremely
important.
worried.
Yes. The Cardinals are underdogs in 17 out of their 17 games.
If you told me Jacoby Brissett was not the starting quarterback for the Cardinals,
Oh man,
my Trey McBride projection changes tremendously. Trey McBride is amazing, but his numbers were incredible with Brissett.
Do you think with being underdogs in 17 games, going after the number 1 pick, presumably towards the end of the season, that Jacoby Brissett is going to play 17 games, even if he's healthy?
It's concerning.
So
Carson Beck will see time on the field.
And he'll see time in the fantasy playoffs. This
When
is one of the reasons why, to me, I prefer Bowers to McBride this year.
It's just a really difficult one to project when that change could happen, if it happens. If they pay Brissett, maybe they play him longer. It's kind of weird to pay a guy to be your starter and then say you're going to pull him in 10 weeks. If you're losing consistently with him, I think you keep on losing.
Fair.
Kayshon Boutte is not practicing or participating in off-season workouts. It seems the Patriots are trying to move on. There's been rumors of them willing to take a 5th or 6th round pick, I think.
There was a question on the last episode on Dynasty Week of when you put a player on the trading block, does it diminish their value? That's how it feels. Like everyone knows Kayshon Boutte can be had for nothing. So it's just like a game of chicken of will you take a 7th? But I would love it if he goes to the Dolphins.
I would say he feels like a chief.
Yes, he does. Yes, he really does.
He does.
They're like, is it good enough? No, but we're gonna do it anyways.
Well, that would be, the A.J. Brown rumors, and then Kyle Williams is there, and they've got weapons. They don't need, he had 33 catches. They all felt like big catches.
Yeah, he was excellent down the field.
Yeah.
He can help a team, but.
Any other news? I got breaking news.
Oh.
I can keep talking however long I want now without Jason muting me.
Oh, man, my mute button's gone.
Yeah,
Hit it, Jay.
la 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 la
Okay.
la la la.
Right,
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to work on something else then.
Okay.
Oh no!
I don't know what that means. All right, we are going to jump right in.
The Fantasy Footballers Mock Draft.
We think this is the earliest we've ever mock draft.
Did
12-team half
Makalaka
PPR.
ding dong.
Oh yeah, baby!
Thank you for the Makalaka ding
Need the
dong.
vibes.
12-team half PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 4 bench spots. Every single spot in the draft is filled by a human being. That's right. Take that, AI.
Well, one of us could be a lizard person. We don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's possible. Brooks has got the first pick. I'm drafting at 2, Jason at 6, Mike at 11. We're going to take a little – this is a lay of the land opportunity here to see where players go. Brooks took Bijan Robinson 101.
Good work, Brooks.
And so I'm going to go up and follow him with Jahmyr Gibbs.
That's a good pick.
Now,
too.
if you were at 1, you would have gone Gibbs?
Gibbs is my number 1 overall, yes. So I would have gone Gibbs. So that puts
So bad jobs, Brooks.
2 running backs at the top of the draft, followed by Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, and JSN. It's wild because our league of record, which some of you, if you've listened for a long time, you followed along with our league of record, and you know the format, and we have a franchise player and 3 keepers. Gibbs, Chase, Puka, and JSN all available.
And just like our league of record, I am picking where there's a big tier break. Because I think that those 3 wide receivers, everyone loves. The 2 main running backs, Bijan and Gibbs, everyone loves. Then it becomes a question when you're at the 6th pick of, do you believe in Christian McCaffrey? Obviously, he was the best player in fantasy last year. Do you think he's going to repeat? He's awesome. Do you go elsewhere? Do you go to CeeDee Lamb? Do you there is – I think those first 5 are going to be the same first 5 in every draft. But now I have to decide where to go.
I mean, you're a huge Jonathan Taylor fan.
Yes.
He's on the table as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think, would be, right there in the mix. What is he, number 3 at wide receiver for 3 straight years?
Correct. In half PPR.
Never drafted as the number 3 wide receiver, by the way, ever.
I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor over Christian McCaffrey. I believe in him. I think he's a superhuman. Daniel Jones will be back. I think we forget how dominant JTT was at the beginning of last year. He was lapping Christian McCaffrey for fantasy points, so I'm just going to take the younger guy that I trust more.
All right. Well, Jason went with Jonathan Taylor, so running backs for he and myself. McCaffrey goes next, CMC at 7, followed by Amon-Ra St. Brown at 108. James Cook to Papa Josh at 109. CeeDee Lamb back in the first round this year at 110. And the hitman on the clock. And I could see sometimes inside Mike's soul, and I just wonder if
I'm going to take Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm wondering what you're going to do.
Assuming.
But Achane is there. Jefferson is not yet drafted.
Oh, man.
So, I think there are quite a few choices. It's a pretty standard format here in half PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, not overemphasizing the wide receiver spot. But what names is Walker in the mix?
Walker is in the mix, but yeah, I'm going to take money bags here. I'm going to take Devon Achane.
Yeah, Achane goes to the hitman at 111.
That's Etienne.
Jason,
Jason, don't do that
we
to
can't
us.
even make this joke because we will break. Even when we were talking about Achane's name change, then I got screwed up and I was like, okay, what is it, Devin? And I'm like, no, I know this, but you can't do these things.
We can go back to Achane. Does that help?
It was better.
So Devon Achane, Justin Jefferson at 112, and Ashton Genty at 201. I'll say this, I am the most bullish among the 3 of us on Ashton Genty by a long shot. One of the things that I love about Genty for this year, if there are those that are just needing another reason to believe, Ashton Genty is going to be in a position likely with Kirk Cousins, who loves to check the football down.
Yeah.
And Ashton Genty is very effective in that part of the fantasy football world. I mean, you want that receiving work from your running back, and I think that there's a huge opportunity for a quick start for Genty in the receiving game. One of those players I think that can do it. So, Mike, you're back on the clock. Achane was your first pick. We're in the second round now.
Yep, so I got the long wait to my next pick. I imagine, like, this is interesting to me of I haven't really mocked yet or done any best ball stuff. So, Achane being there at 11, and then I can draft another player who I think is an RB1. Like, going RB heavy at the 111 it feels like that's an impossibility, and yet here we are. So I got Achane. You can ask me the question, the Kenneth Walker question again.
Yeah, are you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay. It's a shame that, like, I felt so proud of you to be able to resist the temptation.
Well, yeah,
and then it just rolls right back to you.
Achane's better for fantasy football.
Yeah.
I can admit that.
Yeah.
So Mike ends up with Achane and Ken Walker. I mean, that's fun to see.
At the 11?
What's there? I mean, this is the first time any of us have done a full mock with people here with the staff. So Saquon at 203. I mean, that's interesting to me.
Yep.
Like, Saquon has, we spent a lot of last season with a broken down offensive line, and he struggled. Saquon struggled. But if you bring back, Lane Johnson, is there a chance that Saquon ends up being top 3 again? I mean, I think that's at least in the realm of possibility.
Yes, I would say Barkley doesn't feel like it's completely over, and a return to a top 5, top 3 season I don't think is out of question.
Saquon goes at 203. Drake London next at 204. I think our first, biggest leap of faith so far, Amari and Hampton to Kyle at 205.
I love it.
And Chase Brown at 206.
If
so
Hampton
it feels like a tier break thing.
Yeah, if Hampton had dropped to me, he would have been an auto selection. Here, I'm looking. I'm in the middle of the second, and there's a lot of players I like. So it really comes down to who do I think I can get in the next round? Which position do I think is deeper, and players that I personally like that could drop to me? I think there's more at running back, surprisingly, than at wide receiver. I'm going to take my wide receiver 6, a little bit ahead of ADP, but I'm going to take Rashee Rice.
Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten him.
Yeah, I don't think he would have made it back to the third round.
I don't think so.
I mean, when he's on the field with Mahomes, he scores a ton of fantasy points, and that's the game.
Is that what we play?
That's what we do.
We're going for the points?
I just want more points than my opponent.
Right. Different than golf.
No. In golf, too.
You do want the most.
In golf, I absolutely go for the most.
You have had the most points in golf lately.
Thank you.
Rashee Rice, Jeremiah Love at 208, the rookie. I am in a tornado of pain with my thoughts on Jeremiah Love. I have gone from, like, our consensus, we're like down ranking-wise on our initial rankings.
And it feels real bad.
And then I start to think more about this situation. And the Brissett checkdowns, and how good in the receiving game Jeremiah Love is, and how bad the Cardinals defense is, and how many games they will be trailing in which there will be checkdown city. Like, I know that there's a percentage chance he is much better than this spot.
Yes.
I know it.
Yes.
He's that good of a player.
He is sensational. His situation right now looks very unappealing, because you do have other running backs that are going to be involved here. James Conner has been a captain of the team. They just paid money to Algier, who obviously can vulture touchdowns.
They will be like dust in the wind, Jason. That's what's going to happen within about 5 minutes.
Among 7 running backs drafted in the top 15 over the last decade, they have averaged 290 touches.
He will.
You give Jeremiah Love 290 touches.
He's a top 10 back.
I'm telling you, there's just part of me that sees, like, you're going to go out in week 1 and he's going to be like 8 for 72 through the air. And then you're going to go, oh, gosh.
He feels like a nuclear option.
Well, he goes to
in in a way that where you could just nuke your own draft because the Cardinals are just so bad.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the Genty year last year.
Yes.
Genty's great, and it wasn't amazing, but Cardinals also had a good offense with Brissett. I know
They had a lot of yards.
Yeah. And Jacobs goes next. Malik Neighbors goes at 210. What do you think of that?
He's going to be so interesting. As of this moment in time, my expectation is that he starts on the pup. I don't think he is there for week 1. So when we come around to drafts in August, I'm curious how far he'll fall if it's confirmed. Like when we're doing our real draft, if we know that he's not going to be ready week 1, where does he go? How far do you drop a guy who towards the end of the year should be on the field and crushing it?
For what it's worth, I don't think that he starts the year on the pup. I think he will be on the field in week 1.
On the side or in between the numbers?
Yes.
Loophole.
Yes. So I'm on the clock at the turn here, 211. I'm looking at this is a spot where if you draft really early in the draft, you will definitely be tempted by the option to go onesie position here because you could take the top quarterback in the draft. You can take Josh Allen. I could turn around and take Josh Allen maybe at the beginning of next round. You could also go with one of the big guys at tight end, McBride and Bowers. Well, I've only got to wait 2 more picks after this, and so I'm going to let it come to me a little bit. I see one wide receiver in a different tier right now that's left over on the board, and it's Nico Collins. So I'm going to take Nico Collins at 211 and let Brooks make a couple of picks.
Take Josh Allen and McBride.
Well, then I'd have Bowers. See, it's just perfect.
All right.
So he ended up going Kyron and McMillan. So he actually made it worse on me because now I have to make the decision.
Now you still have to make a choice.
Yeah, I'm going to take Trey McBride. I mean, I have him far and away the number 1 fantasy tight end. So we talked about some of the risks that are in play, but that's where I'm going to go, and it starts the run of those names because McBride to my roster, and then Josh Allen goes next. Brock Bowers goes next after that. So Pickens off the board as well. And Jason, you're back on the clock with Taylor and Rice.
This is great for my beliefs. I've got Rice as my wide receiver 6. My running back 6 is still available in the 3rd round. I think he'll be available in a lot of 3rd rounds. Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that was.
It's tough because at some point it can't keep happening.
I almost took Henry with my pick. That was the one I was really considering if I went running back was Henry.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about more of that. Mike, you were laughing?
Of just he wasn't there. Like I had removed him from my player pool mentally and was like, okay, what do we got here? And you're like, oh, Derrick Henry in the middle of the 3rd.
It's wild.
Oh man.
So Jason went with Henry. We'll take a quick break and come back with the rest of the 3rd round. All right, Jason.
Derrick Henry rushed for 1,595 yards with 16 rushing touchdowns last year.
I'm telling you, I almost took him at 211, and he's in the 3rd round. It's a steal. Jason with Taylor and Henry with Rashee Rice leading the way as your 1. I've got Gibbs, Nico, and McBride. Mike with Achane and Walker. He's on the clock now. After Henry, Achane Jr. That would be Travis Achane Jr. A.J. Brown, Chris Olave, and Breece Hall. That could be a steal. I do think that Breece Hall is potentially, if he slips into the 4th round, just please take him in every league. Because I think he has done so much with so little in New York. That offensive line is better than it used to be.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting pick.
I do think the Jets offense, I love talking poorly about Jets, Browns, Cardinals. I just enjoy it.
It's a hobby.
It's one of my favorite hobbies. I actually think the Jets offense should be okay this year. They have some really fun weapons, and Geno is not great by any means, but he
was the worst, yeah.
Yeah, but it's he can still support enough yards to be good for fantasy.
Mike, Achane, Ken Walker, where are you looking? You're at 311. Some of the bigger wide receivers on the board are names that you've liked in the past. T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Luther Burden.
I don't have the courage to have gone running back, and then have Luther Burden be my 1. I mean, I'm real quick on the turn here, so I could take Burden and then another player I like if I wanted to. Sure, I get him.
So it's either Burden, Hand, or 2 in the.
Goodness gracious!
I got a lot of laughing back there. I got a lot.
You got a lot of sympathy.
I got a lot from Al.
There.
He was chuckling loud.
He did like that one a lot.
It's Garrett Wilson, who was dominant last year with Justin Fields. I agree that Geno should be better. That's just
this
it's
is
a
a
scary
choice of your one
proposition.
now. When you go to running backs, you have to say, who do I hand the keys to my wide receiver room to?
And oh man, I don't. So Jeremy is in between me and my next pick. I'm not. There's a name that I think he might. Oh man, I got like three guys. Well, I don't.
Well, why
I'm
don't
working
you say
it out,
them
but
out
I got
loud? Say them out loud.
But the guys.
I know it's a podcast though.
Jeremy, earmuffs.
All right. So I mean, it's like Higgins.
He put his hands over his over his headphones like that would block the sound.
Higgins, Garrett, and Ibuka are. It's like I want to walk away from this turn.
Yes, also him.
So it's like, which one do I want to make sure I don't lose? T. Higgins is, as of right now, he's technically higher in my rankings than Ibuka and Wilson, but by an overall 5 points, and so it's just the factoring in how he scores his points. I'm gonna take Garrett. We're gonna go two Jets here.
It's the right move.
Give me the targets.
If you're taking this as your first wide receiver, I want someone who's going to have 150 targets.
All right, Garrett Wilson joining Mike's squad.
Yeah.
T. Higgins goes next at 312.
Oh, he didn't do me dirty.
Cam Scattaboo goes at 401. I wonder where Cam will end up. I think Camp is going to have a big say in our confidence levels for Cam Scattaboo because I'd like him to be back and be healthy and be good, but I just don't know where he's at. Mike's back on the clock. HN, Walker, and Garrett Wilson, Mike, make the pick.
Oh, man. So the names I would be considering here would be, Ibuka, projecting a true breakout, not just a half of a season. The Luther Burton's kind of the fun pick right here. I don't think it's terrible at the 402 to do it, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go with Ibuka, who, like, the Bears are difficult to project of who is it truly going to be. I think the answer is probably Mr. Loveland. It's just, can Burton, as the number 2 or my projected number 2 in the offense, really actually take this step? Very capable as a player, but will the targets be there?
Well, one of my targets in this round is gone. Javonte Williams is gone at 404.
As is Mr. Loveland.
Yeah, and Bucky Irving.
You jerk.
And then Devontae Smith, who Jason was apparently pining for, goes at 406. So Mike has, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs. Jason, 2 running backs that are like 300-plus carry guys, and Rashee Rice. He's a weird one.
Yeah, I do think his floor is so high. I am totally fine with having him be my number 1. I would have loved to pair him with Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith will be a top 15 wide receiver this year, assuming no A.J. Brown, which seems like a safe assumption. And what sucks here is, like, when I look at the board now, I was completely targeting Devontae Smith. With him gone, I love Travion Henderson. I think he's going to be great this year. I think he's going to take a step up, and he is the best player that I see. But I feel like with Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry on my roster, with only Rice,
that might be the best spot to take a Travion, is when you have stalwarts at running back and you can allow, it's still a committee for Travion.
Yeah, this is really tough. There are, I think the wide receivers that are at the top of the board right now, I don't like that much. I prefer some other shots deeper in the draft. So I'm going to take Travo, and I am very running back heavy to start this draft.
Taylor, Henry, Travo, and Rashee Rice. Ladd McConkey goes next at 408. New Denver Bronco Jalen Waddle at 409. What do you think about that spot for him on the?
I think that seems about right. We did our video for Bo Nix and talk about his inconsistencies. I think Waddle really helps that team.
All right, I'm back on the clock. Gibbs, Collins, and McBride. So I went with one of the onesies, which thinned out. A lot of running backs went between my McBride pick. You had 8 running backs. There is one name.
Are you counting Harvey as a running back?
7.5.
Okay.
Harvey went right before me. There's only one There's a couple names at running back that I think are pretty interesting here, actually. One that's on my list, and again, I know Brooks is listening. I know he can just snipe him away. If he wants to, go ahead. I dare you. Bashal Tutin and Jadarian Price. I think those are the two names of guys that I think are going to have a tremendous amount of the work. Chuba Hubbard is also in that category. When you look at wide receiver, I got my choice of those two guys from Chicago. I wish someone had taken one of them so I don't have to think about Burden via Dunze. Jamison Williams, who I have ranked very high on the board, and then another rookie in Carnell Tate. Those are kind of the names coming into consideration. Lamar Jackson is also there. I might feel back.
Onesie.
I know. I don't feel like I can do that. So I'm actually going to take. Oh gosh, I try never to do that, and I'm going to go Quinshon Judkins. I'm going to take Judkins at 4'11". People forget how successful he was with the opportunity he had. McLaurin and Jadarian Price go next because he wants to leave me with this stinking decision about the Bears.
Doing great work, Brooks.
Well, it's Rome Odunze then. I'm going to take Rome Odunze at the 502. It's who I have ranked higher. Harold Fannin goes next. Right. I know, it might not be right. Bashal Tutin at 504. DeAndre Swift at 505. So right now, just as picks are being made, Jason's on the clock. McBride, Bowers, Loveland, and Fannin are gone. I
have DeAndre Swift. Guys.
I know, you have him very high.
I have a place in my rankings that...
Inappropriate?
My heart hurts
it's very off-brand
when I read it, and my very hilarious, very accurate, takes about Swift not really being that good, and yet last year, what was he, the RB14? Because they had figured stuff out.
Well, Mandangai's good though.
Oh, I agree. My projections for Swift are not like an outrageous step up. He missed one game, but just after the bye week, he had a lot of huge games. Yeah, the only running backs to finish inside the top 24 each of the last 6 years, Derrick Henry and DeAndre Swift.
Jason, You're on the clock. And
Kyle, that stat is disgusting.
Jason's got Taylor, Henry, and Trevo with Rashee Rice. There is a name on the board I wonder if you're thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, what is it?
Why don't you just tell me?
I tried to, I set the table a little bit. McBride, Bowers, Loveland, and Fannin are off the board.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys that you are in love with.
Yeah, I am in love with.
Will not be here if you don't take him here.
Tyler Warren, I think, is a phenomenal talent, but I also don't necessarily want to have Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren on the same team. Because I'm so running back heavy, I want to focus on wide receiver. I'm going to try a strategy here. There's a wide receiver I really want. He's who, if this was a real draft, I would probably just take him because I believe in him the most. But I think he might come to me the next round.
Okay.
And so I'm going to kind of do a reverse thing here. I'm going to take a guy.
You're going to keep it a secret?
You're going to take your 6th round pick here and hope you can get your 5th round pick later?
Perfectly said, Mike. I'm going to take Carnell Tate. I want a young alpha opportunity for someone that towards the end of the year could really show that, we've seen so many rookie wide receivers in the last, decade that just make a huge impact on fantasy. And, when you go that high in the draft, I think he's going to be a good player.
After Carnell Tate goes Flowers, Tyler Warren, Drake May, the number 2 quarterback off the board to Papa Josh. J-Mo, he's gone. Jamison Williams, I have him ranked very highly.
As do
once again. Mike is back on the clock. He's balanced. Achane, Walker, Wilson, and Ibuka.
Oh, baby. And
2 picks.
And Luther B.
Still there.
He's right there for me. Let me peek. So Jeremy's balanced at the turn. Quarterback-wise, some elites are still there. I would say there's 3 elites because we got Lamar, Joe Burrow, and Jaden. So I could be cool just bypassing that completely. Tight end, it's really it's Tucker Kraft and how well do you believe he will bounce back from his injury. Otherwise, just punt. And like I said, Luther Burden's at the top, and then there is another wide receiver who's also very high in my rankings. I'm gonna play the game though. I'm gonna take Luther Burden.
Well, you got him around later than you thought you might have to take him.
I did, so that's fun. Oh, no, Jeremy took him.
I knew who you were talking about.
Christian Watson goes next, and Lamar Jackson at 601.
You thought the Packer fan was going to...
Yeah.
That was a bad bet.
We're going to see what happened.
Right. Well,
And it was wrong.
So the Packer fan,
Yeah.
who wouldn't have wanted to
take the bear. That's fair.
You
that's fair.
messed it up.
your league.
I
You
did.
messed it up.
Well, I was going with the Jason's method.
Right. Take
the worst pick and get the better pick later. But
weird.
it didn't work out.
No,
It did not work out.
you're back on the clock.
So I got 3 wide receivers. So my flex is Luther Burden at this point. So H.N. Walker, Wilson, Ibuka, Luther Burden. That feels really strong. It seems like I could afford to take a quarterback here. So is it Jaden Daniels bouncing back? Joe Burrow continuing his 6-game pace of dominance? I mean, just when Joe Burrow's healthy, he dominates, but he is frequently not healthy. Oh, my gosh. And between those two guys, I'm kind of just which day in which one am I feeling? I'm gonna go with Joey B. I'm gonna take Burrow.
Lamar and Joe Burrow back to back in the 6th round here. Jason,
there's a lizard dragon
Jason
noise. I warned you about the lizard people.
a guttural reaction to Mike Evans leaving
Yeah.
in the 6th round. Papa Josh has been sitting on the clock for quite some time. Really thinking here. Devontae Adams off the board, then Jaden Daniels. So we've seen a run of 4 quarterbacks in 9 picks. May, Lamar, Burrow, and Jaden. Do you think that's what people will end up doing is somebody starts the run beyond Josh Allen and he just goes?
Yeah, I think so. There's kind of a tier of similar quarterbacks where if you go into a draft saying, I want one of these guys, like, for instance, right now, I have Jalen Hurts kind of in that tier. I'm going to take him because he's the last of that tier.
And based off of, like, last year, the 6th round where we have Lamar, Burrow, Daniels, and Hurts, like, that's not – we're getting a discount right now.
Yeah, a little bit typical of our drafts, I think, with people here.
Even this is seems later.
Last year, a lot of these tier of quarterbacks we were taking in the 4th round.
Jalen Hurts to Jason. He loves himself some Jalen Hurts. David Montgomery, the Houston Texan, goes next. DJ Moore off the board, and Jalen Warren.
I think David Montgomery and Jalen Warren are going to be phenomenal values in drafts this year because this is about where I expect them to go.
The boring volume.
Yeah, the boring volume guys that no one really is excited about that seem kind of like dead zone running backs, but their opportunities to score a lot of fantasy points are like it's a very clear path. I mean, super obvious how both these guys get it done, and they're in the 6th round.
You feel like Warren is clearly ahead of Dowdle?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Well, I think
every team with Dowdle always ends up hating him. Like he's no matter how good he plays, it's like I don't know what he does, but
was McCarthy's firing the same year that Dowdle left?
He was.
I don't remember. Maybe Kyle, do you remember?
I'm trying to remember now too.
I guess.
Yeah, Kyle
says yeah. So that's
McCarthy,
what I'm saying. Like McCarthy was let go after Dowdle had the breakout for McCarthy. So it's a domino. Should have McCarthy have been retained, did Dowdle remain a Cowboy?
Yeah,
we'll
but
never know.
If you look at Aaron Rodgers and how he plays and his checkdowns, like we said, Kenneth Gainwell led this team in receptions last year. That's not going to be Dowdle. That's going to be Jalen Warren.
I appreciate you guys spending so much time.
You're welcome.
I don't know who I want to pick. So there's a name that jumps off the page that I won't take because I don't want too many interest in this offense. But Marvin Harrison is a 6th round pick here.
Mm-hmm.
And so but I have McBride. And so there's one other player that struggled last year that I do think could bounce back, and it's Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is here sitting here in the 6th round. I think about Mekhi Lemon. I think about Chuba Hubbard a little bit. At the wide receiver position, we still haven't seen a Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver go off the board yet. Not that is saying much.
How do you have those two guys, the Steelers wide receivers?
In terms of fantasy output?
Right. I'm just curious. I haven't looked at your guys'. Are you DK Metcalf over Pittman or Pittman over Metcalf?
Let me tell you.
Okay. That's why I'm asking.
I have DK Metcalf decent amount ahead of Pittman.
Liked what you saw last year, huh?
This guy and Metcalf at every turn. I mean, having Metcalf ahead of Pittman doesn't mean I liked what I saw.
I was saying Pittman was quite good.
Would you believe that all
year.
of this delay in me speaking and all this,
you still haven't picked?
Still don't really know.
Just take Alec Pierce.
That's who I'm going to take. That's not.
Okay.
I'm not joking.
At that point, as your wide receiver
Pierce
3, Turbo
is who I'm going to go with. Pierce is at 6'11" here. Brian Thomas Jr. goes next. Chuba Hubbard goes next. I don't know if he's just doing that to mess with me because those are the two names I mentioned. But at running back, it's thinned out quite a bit. I'm back on the clock. JCM, who still has a job in Washington. Ramondre, nobody ever wants to pick. Monangai, Pollard. Pollard's just like the starting running back of a team we think is going to vastly improve on offense, right?
Yeah, but
it's so.
But who wants to take him?
He feels like he's there, and he has a sign that says, "This is a trap," pointing directly at Tony Pollard.
All right, I'll take Marv. I'm willing to take him around later. I'll take Marvin Harrison in the 7th round here. Stack up some wide receiver options.
I was completely 100% in line with you, where I think that the two best values since my last pick were Brian Thomas Jr. and Marvin Harrison. Those guys should not be going this late because around here, like Metcalf, Sutton, Jacoby Myers, like just looking at what's at the top, those guys don't have a path to be like, oh my gosh, they're the wide receiver 5 this year. Those two, Marv and Brian Thomas, could absolutely just explode.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, Marv could have a 5 in his number.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a number in front of that 5.
Well, his teammate Wilson went directly
3
with the next pick. Then Pollard and Mekhi Lemon. We'll take a break and let Jason make his 7th round selection. All right, Jason, you're back on the clock. Hurts last round. You have a fairly thin wide receiver room.
Yes, I do.
With Rice and Carnell Tate.
That
I bet you wanted Marv.
True. I did want Marv or Brian Thomas. I wanted Mike Evans last round.
You should draft the guys that you want.
What great advice. In that case, I'm going to take someone that I have. I mean, I am going to choose what I believe in my rankings over what ADP is, and I'm going to not take DK Metcalf, but I am going to take Michael Pittman. I think, they paid this man a lot of money. They traded for him, and he is the play style.
What'd they pay Metcalf?
That was years ago. But he's the play.
Year.
It's the play style. Like we just talked about Aaron Rodgers. Like he's a check down king now. He throws the ball about 10 yards or less. This is where Pittman's going to be living. So,
you have him statted.
Yeah, I've got
Metcalf.
Pittman ahead. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Pittman was really good last year.
Yes, he was.
I mean, he's always a good player.
I know. It's like the total opposite of DK Metcalf. Like always good.
Jason goes Pittman, Stevenson, Monangai, Kraft, and Dowdle next. Taking Dowdle off the board for Mike.
Yeah.
Mike, you got a couple of picks here. Let's make them count.
To steal my picks. The only consolation I have here is Dowdle would have been my second pick, hopefully making it through the turn, because I will take the starting running back for the Denver Broncos, J.K. Dobbins. I do not see anything different. I apologize. Jonah Coleman is there. He's a variable. He's a factor. I'm saying I don't see anything different of
if you want
what the depth chart will be.
If you want 8 fantasy points, you're going to get it.
I think he'll get a lot more than 8 fantasy points. If you want 8 games, you go get it.
Yes, now the injury is definitely a problem, but Harvey is not it. Here's Dobbins' finishes to start last year, as he was a late addition to the Broncos. Running back 13, 15, 12, 19, 15. Terrible game against the Jets. 23, 13. And then 32 and gets hurt.
All the extra time, though, for Harvey in the back half of the year and drafting the pick, I don't think it's going to be status quo.
I do, because I watched Harvey play football, and that guy is just that.
I mean, he was very involved.
Oh, yeah, he had to be. They had they had no choice. I just think Dobbins is such a superior player even at this point with all of his injuries.
Ironically, if you're just using fantasy finishes as the argument for Dobbins, if you look at R.J. Harvey's fantasy finishes towards the end of the year, RB7, RB7, 25, 11, 11.
Touchdowns hit real hot for him at the end of the year.
All right, Mike, you're back on the clock. Dobbins was the 7-11 pick. Krosky, Merritt, and Metcalf go. Metcalf, an 8th-round pick. Wild.
I know.
Mike respects
it. Like he should double-digit guy at best. Tight end-wise, you know what?
He used to be DK Metcalf.
He still is.
He never
he is on our website.
He never was. He never will be. A player that, I talk about punting the tight end position. Laporta finished much higher in my ending projections than I was expecting to see. I don't feel like it's a surefire bet, but in the 8th round, it's all right. Jared Goff continues to just pour on passing yardage. It might just be Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams, but I'll take the shot here.
I really think that offense is going to be great again this year.
I think they will be too.
People want to, attack the change at offensive coordinator. This is not one of those teams where, like Philadelphia, like the offensive coordinator is doing so much. Like it's a collaborative effort is what I'm saying in Detroit. Like the head coach, Dan Campbell, called plays for half of the year last year. He's going to have a huge influence. They're not going to completely depart from what they're doing and have had success doing.
Jared Goff, in the past 4 years where he played 17 games, has thrown for 4,400 yards, 4,500 yards, 4,600 yards, and 4,500 yards.
Laporta, Gainwell, Corum. Blake Corum going at 804. Interesting pick there. Pearsall and Parker, Washington.
It's funny with the Jags. I mean, you could take any of them. There's still Jacoby Myers on the board.
Yep.
And one of them is going to be right. But
none of them.
Sure.
Yeah, none of them could be right.
That could absolutely work out. But I'm going to take Quentin Johnston.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
huge
is – I think he's just disappointed so much early that people forget that he's actually really good.
Yes.
I think this offense – I want pieces of the Chargers offense that if you're telling me one wide receiver on that team is going to get 10 touchdowns, it's probably going to be huge.
All right, I am on the clock here. I've gone wide receivers 3 straight. It's thinned out crazily at running back. I need depth there. I'm taking Jordan Mason above Aaron Jones.
Interesting.
Actually, Aaron Jones just went at 809. I'm taking Jordan Mason at 811. Jones a year older. Josh Downs, a steal there by Brooks at 812.
Yes,
great pick. And Crod. Chris Rodriguez goes at 901. Interesting pick there. I'm going to circle back. I wanted to get Mekhi Lemon earlier. I thought about Mekhi Lemon as a rookie with upside. So I'm going to take another rookie with upside. I'm going to take Casey Concepcion at the 902 for the Browns.
You know what I like about that pick is that he's very good.
Right. That's one of the helpful attributes.
Yeah, I mean, we don't love that he's, on the Browns. You don't even know who the quarterback's going to be yet for sure, but Concepcion is
good player.
Really good player.
All right, after Concepcion, Jacoby Myers does go. Jordan Addison. Probably a steal at 904. You got like 3 Vikings going there and 8 picks. Kyle Pitts at 905, who reluctantly I have in my top 5, and this is the 8th tight end off the board. Jason, you are back on the clock. You will need a tight end before all things come to an end.
I will get a tight end in round 11 because that is our last round. If I don't end up with one of those top guys, I don't care. I just will punt. You are not wrong. The running backs got thinned out like
crazy. Yeah, I regret 3 wide receivers in a row after that happened.
There is
I wish I would have taken Chuba.
Hot poo-poo garbage left to grab. And usually this is where like the rookies are fun, but this just isn't a very strong rookie running back class. So I'm just going to keep rolling with my 3 studs at running back and look to the wide receiver position. And the guy I like the most is no one. Well, let's do this.
B. Robinson from Atlanta's on the clock.
Yeah, I'll take B. Robinson. I'm going to pair my Carnell Tate with Wan'Dale Robinson. And
just what?
I mean, I think this is a purposeful strategy. This wasn't a forgetting that I took Tate. This is me saying that if Tate,
you've given up on the draft.
No, this is if Tate If Carnell Tate is great, if he comes out and looks awesome, I don't need Wan'Dale.
What if he's second rate?
If he's second rate, it probably means that Wan'Dale's going to be
laughed
140,
way too loud at that joke.
140
So
targets.
I understand in principle. That makes sense if it's Metcalf and Pittman.
Kyle,
it doesn't make sense to me if it's Tate and Wan'Dale, because if Tate doesn't emerge immediately, you will just know that he's a rookie about to emerge. If Wan'Dale emerges immediately, you're not going to drop Tate. So I think you're stuck with two Titans, and I'm not sure I love that. But Herbie goes at 907, Sutton, Woody Marks, Brock Purdy.
Cortland Sutton, I know it was disappointing, but Cortland Sutton at the 908 feels...
Oh, my gosh, I'd rather never draft him.
That's how I feel.
Oh
I feel like Cortland Sutton.
Cortland nothing.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Cortland nothing. Completely bombed the final 2 weeks of the year and still finished as the wide receiver 13. Just that at this point of the draft, that is shocking to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right.
You're back on the clock. Two of your final three picks.
I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the running back position...
It's not good, man.
Not.
That's why you do the dance, man. You want to learn what to expect, and it thinned out quick.
It thins out extremely fast. So my wide receiver position, I got Garrett Wilson, Abuka, Burden. I got 3 running backs as well, my quarterback and my tight end. I would prefer to take some shots on some running back sleepers, but
they're all fast asleep.
You
have Jonah Coleman.
These are just running back.
You have
coma patients.
You have Rashad White, Jonah Coleman,
Rashad White's
Jonathan Brooks. Are some names. Katron Allen, if you don't like what Washington has.
I'm gonna let Jason. Oh, I was thinking of Singleton. Thinking of Singleton.
Charbonnet.
Yeah, Charbonnet is just an IR stash. The wide receiver, I want to take Romeo Doubs, which on May 18th I think is the right pick, but in 2 weeks that is probably
Why don't you
not
do
the
it now?
right pick.
Because you're not going to be able to give him respect later.
Because now that you mentioned Rashad White, that's probably the best smart pick right there.
All right, Rashad White, drafted by Mike Wright.
Yep.
Oh, White
man.
to Wright.
In on Rashad White and DeAndre Swift in 1 year?
Who are you?
What have I become?
Last year was the year of Mike. This year.
This is the year of White, Rashad White.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
Romeo Doubs and Ferguson off the board. Mike, you got to make another pick. Make it a gross one.
Oh, you got
Who else do you not like?
Yeah.
Wow.
Generally, let me see some of these names.
So many people.
Can I interest you in Braylon Allen?
No.
How about some Stephon Diggs before he has a team?
If you're
or Tyreek,
if you're in a wide open
or Debo,
like if you're in a real draft, at this point, looking at the players like, oh, I could have Khalil Shakir, I can have Worthy. It's like, why not? Why not throw one of the veterans who doesn't have a job, who almost certainly will have an impact job? But I'm going to go with oh, man.
You need another wideout.
Yeah, I'm going to go.
I like that there's no answer to the end.
Well, I talked myself into Chris Godwin. But it's just what is the – because I think Chris Godwin will be good for fantasy. But it's just what it truly is the upside.
You have a Buka.
What is the ceiling?
You have a Buka on your team.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me.
So you probably don't want to do that.
Thank you for reminding that as well.
Yeah, I mean, here.
No,
Jaden Reed.
I'm gonna take Jalen Coker. Not that I think that his upside is completely there, but it's just he has. Whenever he gets his opportunity, he seems to come through.
Kind of reminds me of, a couple guys that Marvin Jones.
Right.
Do you remember when Marvin Jones in Cincinnati, when they had a couple other guys, he just kept making plays. Robert Woods in Buffalo before he was a big guy. I think Coker is a good player. I'm really sad right now to see this stupidity from Matthew Betts.
The double up of the quarterback.
He goes Herbert, and then he comes back where Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. Was that just to hurt me?
That was your target?
That was my target.
I think that's a fine strategy. We're hemming and hawing about Jalen Coker and Juwan Jennings. He's just like, I'll get a guy who's probably top 12 quarterback.
It's not super flex, Matt. Gosh dang it. Jason, you're back on the clock. You do need a tight end.
I do need a tight end, but it's not my last round yet. So I refuse to take one. I also need a little bit of running back depth. I've got 3 studs, but that's it. There are no running backs left. Let me make that very clear. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
In our draft?
Yeah, in this one.
No, Trey Benson's still there.
Actually, I'm going to take a very mirrored guy to Trey Benson. He was taken ahead of him in the same draft. I'm going to pull the trigger on Jonathan.
I like it.
On Jonathan Brooks.
I like it.
He's 22 years old. If you think of him like a rookie, this year.
What about a rookie with
he's better than I would
multiple ACL tears.
There's Emmett Johnson and there's Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. These are the rookie running backs I could grab. I feel like Jonathan Brooks is a better bet to get work this year. So
you know how when they hold you back your first year and it's called a red shirt.
Mm-hmm.
What if you do that twice? Is it like a maroon shirt?
It just gets deeper red.
I went with Matthew Golden for my 10th round pick. Shot worth taking at the very, very end of the draft. Brenton Strange and Stafford went next. I have to decide at a quarterback position now. I'm going to take the shot on Caleb because it is a stack for me with Odunze. So I will take Caleb Williams with my final pick.
This is the hard part of quarterbacks this year is not every draft you're in is going to be like this. If you're in a more casual, people love quarterbacks and they take them early. Our final 2 rounds here, so rounds 10 and 11, Trevor Lawrence, Dak, Stafford, Caleb, Bo Nix, undrafted currently, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
It's so weird to see Mahomes.
Malik Willis with the rushing upside.
No,
Kyler.
A strategy for deeper leagues that I like is the going Malik and Tyler Shuck as 2 quarterbacks. Thinking one of them will hit.
By the way, there are 2 teams in this draft that took 2 quarterbacks, and those names are still there. So that means 14 quarterbacks are going to be off the board. It's wild. Tesla, Nix, Singleton. Jason went with Mark Andrews as his tight end. It's a good pick in the 11th round. Don't forget about him.
Tesla got drafted? Nice.
Chris Godwin, Kenyon Mitchell,
Jonah
Jonah Coleman,
do that.
Denzel Boston. Mike, your final pick. Please select a player. I said select a player.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's so much garbage that I could pick from, so let's just pick one and make a case. What happens if Kubiak truly has a 2 running back situation, or the backup gets more work than we think he will for the Raiders?
Mike Washington.
They spent the pick on Mike Washington, athletic freak. I don't know if he's that good of a running back. But if someone's going to get something out of that, I think Coups could do it. So let's find out in the last round.
And Al Borland is neglecting to make the final pick to complete the draft.
Don't worry about it, man.
All right, I give some concluding thoughts, Alvin Kamara, with the final pick of the draft. Oh, dear goodness. We've been doing this a long time. I ended up with Gibbs, Judkins, and Mason at running back, and I don't like it. That's not enough with Judkins' injury. In hindsight, I probably would have taken a shot. I would have taken Price again in the next round if Brooks didn't take him. But, Gibbs is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting there. Nico, Odunze, Pierce, Harrison, Concepcion, and Golden, probably the strength. Went with the onesie of McBride and Caleb Williams at quarterback.
I've got my 3 studs at running back, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Travion Henderson, and Jonathan Brooks behind him. My wide receivers, Rashee Rice, Carnell Tate, Michael Pittman, Huge, and Wandale, with Jalen Hurts at quarterback and Mark Andrews at tight end.
I got Devon Achane, Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins, Rashad White, Mike Washington are my running backs. Garrett Wilson, Emeka Ibuka, Luther Burden, Jalen Coker at the wideout position. Burrow's my quarterback. Sam Laporta is my tight end. Looking at the draft, I mean, I love Burrow. I love the value of the 6th round. But imagining my team with like Chuba right there, or even just a disgusting David Montgomery pick coming back with J.K. Dobbins.
Would have felt better. I think we learned that this draft.
Yeah,
that running backs thin out and make you feel gross.
Yeah,
because I definitely
we could get more clarity as as time goes on and training camp is going. But
I mean, I would much. I'll just say this: I'd much rather. I mean, McBride is a difference maker at the position, but Loveland went way later, right? And Fannin and Warren went way after that, and I could have had Derrick Henry. I could have had Derrick Henry. That was the pick I was thinking about long and hard at 302. Gibbs and Henry with Judkins feels great. And picking up a Warren in the 5th round, that's a tough trade. So, yeah I agree. First time going through the draft and seeing the running back position feel that swiftly with a lack of confidence.
It is funny because in the middle of the draft, there were a lot of names I still liked at running back. So those middle rounds, you had Bucky falling and Javonte falling and Tootin's opportunity, even later Montgomery. But there is an absolute, once these guys are gone, there's no one left.
Seems like a cliff. Yeah. All right, that is going to do it for today's show. We got some stat surprises from the UDK on the Thursday episode along with your mailbag questions. We've got Fantasy Wildcards episode coming up soon, and this is your one of your last chances to get in on the early pre-order pricing for the Ultimate Draft Kit. All of our sleepers, breakouts, busts, and values, all of our tier-based rankings, all of our exclusive tools and resources to help you on draft day. Check them out at ultimatedraftkit.com. Until next time, for Andy Holloway, Mike Wright, Wandale Robinson, Carnell Tate, and Jason Moore, I bid you adieu.
Jason Titans Moore.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.